Welcome back to Dissecting the Week, and we are back in front of the whiteboard after a sizable hiatus. It's been a big week, like a really big week. As if we thought the World's Week couldn't get bigger, but it did, because we had the first wet ParisRoubaix since 2002 and the first women's ParisRoubaix, which was arguably more exciting than the men's. So we'll step into Heroes of the Week. And unsurprisingly, the ParisRoubaix winners are there. And then because they won ParisRoubaix, Sonny and Lizzie. However, Sonny's ParisRoubaix was spectacular because he raced it like a racer. And Sonny got a lot of criticism around Europeans for not working with Remco, but he won. And equally, after ParisRoubaix, he got some criticism because he didn't pull as much as Pat van der Poel and Florian Vermeersch, but he won. And this is something that I keep coming back to, in that he's a good bike racer, and he used his. For a long time he had Gianni Moscon. No, he didn't, because Gianni's in. It's not the Worlds, it's the ParisRoubaix, so they're not riding. Forget I said that. He just used. He rode like a racer and he won the bike race, and that should receive no criticism. At the end of the day, sprinters do nothing until the last. Do nothing. That's unfair. Sprinters do not appear at the front until the last 200 meters. No one gives them any stick for that. So I think all hats off to Sonny for winning ParisRoubaix. Lizzie, however, won it in a completely different fashion. She just chinned off the front with 80k to go before they even hit any cobbles, and was never seen again. Pretty smart, pretty wise, because of a wet ParisRoubaix. Perhaps for the women, an unfamiliar ParisRoubaix. Obviously a large amount, ironically, given that it was Sonny's first try at ParisRoubaix and he won it, but most of that male field will have done ParisRoubaix before. All of them would never have done a wet ParisRoubaix, but certainly more experienced. So it was pretty smart of Lizzie to get off the front and just be able to ride her own pace, her own lines. Got a bit sideways a couple of times, which was wild to watch. And just all in all, a pretty classy ride. And actually, for me, a real classy response to the ride as well, in the message that she posted on social media about how long it's taken to get a women's ParisRoubaix, and the fact that she hopes her daughter doesn't have to endure the same sort of trials and tribulations as Lizzie's had to as a female athlete. My teammate Alessandro De Marchi won Tres Valli Varese, and there's a lot of anger in that, because I think a lot of people had written Dema off, and well, Pogacar was in third, Formula was in second, so that's a pretty classy top 10 and a pretty classy win. And we'll get on to the hour record, something close to my heart. Joss and Dan. I'm not going to put them together because that would be unfair, even though they are together. Joss took the women's hour record in a very clinical ride that she made look easy. She said afterwards it really wasn't, but made it look very easy and super dialed in. It was at Grenchen, so it's not at altitude. It was just a very strong hour record, and the previous record was held by Vittorio Bussi. Joss put 400 meters on that, and after being told by, I think, Vittorio Bussi and a couple of other people that she was going about it the wrong way, clearly she proved that she wasn't. Dan took the British hour record, which now Dan cannot take the world hour record because he's not on the registered testing pool. So Dan went for the British hour record, clocked to 54.7, a real interesting pacing strategy, because for the first 30 minutes he just lost time to the Wiggins record, was about 18 seconds back. So he rode that at around, I think, 54 kilometers an hour. Then in the next 20 minutes, booted it at 56.5 kilometers an hour, turned that deficit into a negative split of the hour record, which we haven't seen before in that fashion, and I think it's typical Dan to have done something a little bit out there. It's going to make other people question how they approach an hour record, I think. And just a real classy ride, and we knew from both Joss and Dan things were going to be very dialed in and very well executed. But my hero of the week's Lizzie, just with having a daughter, and Lizzie just really using the ParisRoubaix platform to highlight the what it's taken to get to that start line, let alone that finish line. Do we're going to WTF of the week. Firstly, Mathieu van der Poel's shoes. How they were as gloriously white at the end of Paris-Roubaix is a mystery to the whole pro peloton.
There's some like special self-cleaning thing in them that was controlled by the team car.
So the team car were controlling the cleanliness of Mathieu van der Poel's
Whether
shoes.
that's a Twitter rumour or not. But
Whether that's a Twitter rumour or not remains to be seen. But they were gloriously white in a race where no one was clean. No, I should not use that term. They were gloriously white in a race where everyone was filthy. And that was that. And I'm going to touch on prize money because the disparity between the men's and the women's prize money in Paris-Roubaix was shocking. And it's 2021. This is a new race. Like, it astounds me that there wasn't equal prize money in the men's and the women's Paris-Roubaix. At the end of the day, none of us do this for the prize money. Like, if your teammate wins or if you win, it's a nice bonus, but it is not about the prize money. Certainly for the women, it's not about the prize money because like there's close to bugger all. But just the message that's sent out to say that the women's race is not as important as the men's just isn't correct. And I think that's a real flaw from Paris-Roubaix, a real mistake on their behalf to have done that. I mean, we saw like Lizzie's hands at the end with like just blood. Like we all go through the same shit, and it's just deeply unfair and wrong that the prize money is so different. And like hats off to Trek for like bridging that difference. They shouldn't have to do that, but they did because the bike racers, the teams believe in equality and equal prize money, just equal everything. But the races don't seem to, and I would urge the organisers to talk to the riders because maybe it's naive of me because I would imagine 90% of the male pro peloton would want equal prize money, and certainly all of the women's pro peloton would. So that's something that really frustrated me this week. So upcoming, and it's already underway, is the women's tour, the Women's Tour of Britain. That passes mostly in the Midlands and the southeastern region. One stage comes frighteningly close to my house, and unfortunately I won't be able to watch because I'm not in the country, but the parents will be out, and it covers a lot of the Malden 10. So I'm mildly concerned for my KOMs. I don't hold any QOMs on the course, but I'm concerned for my KOMs. We've got Euro Track Champs have started, so we're getting into track season, which is good fun, and Lombardia, which is the last monument of the season, then the last real big hit out for the really small guys. So thanks for watching, see you next week.
They'll put you down and leave you there, don't make them scared.